if you don't want to convert to Islam and you don't want to follow our rules by being a second-class citizen, then you're committing treason against Allah, and one of the pronouncements, one of the punishments is beheading. We will behead you, and that will instill fear in others to at least convert or be a second-class citizen. That began in the 7th century. It's continued. Mm-hmm. It will never stop. There's 1.3 billion Muslims. If there's 10 Muslims left on the face of the earth, 2 or 3 will hold a jihadist viewpoint, and they will fight to the death. That's just the way it's going to be.
So what are we talking about here? Genocide?
No, we're talking about a clash of civilizations where the Western countries have to protect themselves and others by going to war against those who want to kill others unless others reform to Islam. We are not at war with Sweden or Finland or Spain or Austria simply because they're democratic countries, and they say, you guys do what you do, we do what we do here. If you want to come and live with us, fine. Islam doesn't work that way. So not genocide, but terroricide, to kill the Islamic jihadis who want to be terrorists or put them in jail. And that's going to be for the rest of our lifetime and our children's lifetime and their children's lifetime.
But from what I understand, the present administration really doesn't want to get into another war because, number one, America is a war-tired country right now. You know, you've just getting out of Afghanistan. You've had, you've had what was it? Going back to the 90s when you guys Desert Storm. You know, you've got all these troops coming back home. You've got the problems with the Veterans Administration. How, in the name of heaven, can America wage a war against ISIS right now?
Yeah, you see, we in the West, and the last I looked, you're a great country up north. Mm-hmm. I'm down in Florida. Canada's part of the West, and we woke up to a fact of reality that part of the methodology of Islam is the brutalization and destruction and killing of its enemy. We woke up to that 10, 12, 15 years ago, actually 1979. But for all intents and purposes, we woke up to that on 9/11. If I could magically have your listeners see the world as it was from the 7th century when Islam got started to about the early 1900s, Muslim jihadis are doing today exactly what they did from the 7th century to the 20th century, the beginning of the 20th century. We just didn't see it because we didn't have the capability to record on an iPhone, put it up on the internet, and see immediately the implementation of Islamic theology and governance. But it's been going on. It's been contained in a different part of the world, and we're just seeing it now, that's all.
Why do the Islams hate America? Why are they so bound and determined to do everything in their power to destroy us?
It's interesting. There's 2 or 3 reasons for that. One, we protect Israel. One, we protect Saudi Arabia for different reasons. We protect Israel because they are a kindred spirit in many senses, our number one national security partner. Excuse me 1 second.
Sure.
I'm fighting a pretty bad cold.
Sorry to hear that, Tom.
And we protect Saudi Arabia for a different reason, for the flow of oil. The jihadis, if they can break our protection of Israel and Saudi Arabia, they win.
You all right, Tom?
Hang on 1 second.
Okay. Exonation,
I'll
my
be
guest.
back I got to run and get a drink.
My guest this hour, Exonation, is Tom Trento. He's the man in charge of the United West. www.theunitedwest.org. He's one of the leading academic activists in the United States, a highly skilled debater and dynamic public speaker. He frequently goes toe-to-toe with Muslim Brotherhood representatives, exposing their radical agenda to the public and elected officials. Once again, the website is www.theunitedwest.org. And unfortunately, Tom is battling a summer cold. I know how he feels because I just got over one a couple of weeks ago. And also, Exonation, Tom...
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, Tom is the co-author of Shariah, The Threat to America. Okay, welcome back. Hope you're feeling a little bit better. I was just telling the audience that well, as they well know, I just got over a summer cold, and they've got to be the worst kind of colds going.
It's been about 3 weeks. I don't need to belabor your poor listeners with my health issue here, but the fight goes on, and on a very small scale, the kind of work we do, which gets very, very difficult, we take so much inspiration from the young men and women that have fought this war on the kinetic side, using guns and bombs and bullets. We're counter-jihad warriors on the cultural side. We're fighting the ideology, which is going to be the solution for the West, so that we don't have to continue on the kinetic side, shooting and killing people. We're trying to bring that piece together. But again, as I said earlier, it's a fool's errand to think there will not be Muslims who truly believe that Allah wants them to defeat the infidel, to capture Jerusalem, to capture the two holy cities, Mecca and Medina. And both of those lead to apocalyptic destruction for the West if that occurs.
Tom, stand by. You and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. Exonation Tom Trenton is our special guest this hour. www.theunitedwest.org. And he's the co-author of Shariah, The Threat to America. My name is Rob McConnell. This is the X-Zone. We're coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Tom and I will be back on the other side as we continue talking about this very, very important topic. And you'll hear here on the X-Zone the stories that the mainstream media refuse to carry because they don't want to ruffle anyone's feathers. I'll be back on the other side of this break with Tom Trenton. Don't go away. Hi, this is Rob McConnell, just letting you know that the X-Chronicles newspaper is now available online at www.xzonebookclub.com. All past editions and current editions of the X-Chronicles newspaper are available for 99 cents. That's www.xzonebookclub.com, and that's 99 cents U.S. per edition. And don't forget, the X-Zone store is now open as well for all of your X-Zone Nation merchandise. www.thexzonestore.com.
Do you have a dis-ease that you would like to alleviate through a natural means? Have you been contacted by angels, ghosts, or even extraterrestrials and want to validate these experiences? Or would you simply like to speak with someone who can help you find your life's purpose? I'm Dr. Joseph Mara, and I'm offering my services free of charge for first-time clients contacting me during the month of April. These free consultations include angel card readings, guided meditations, life coaching, and energy healing. If you have always wanted to explore these types of experiences but were skeptical or simply could not afford them, then take advantage of this free special offer. Contact me through my website, aguidinglight, spelled LITE.com, to schedule your consultation today. Until then, I offer you love, light, and laughter.
Exonation Tom Trenton was our guest this hour, www.theunitedwest.org. Tom, we know that there is a community in the Catskills called Islamburg. We know in that community there are people who are getting military training. We know that there are 22 compounds throughout the United States that do the same kind of training that Islamberg does. We know that law enforcement knows about these communities, and yet their hands are tied. Isn't this just inviting problems? Aren't we just saying to these terrorists, okay, fine, you can come over, you can create your cells, you can train your people right here on the soil that you have vowed to destroy?
Yes. Short answer is yes. And the encampments that you referred to are legal. I mean, they're private property, and they're in places where you can shoot guns, which many Americans do on private property. The problem is when you conspire to overthrow the United States, then you would think it would draw the attention of the federal government here in the United States, and it has on occasion. But part of the Muslim Brotherhood's doctrine says that in order to defeat the West, and the great Satan is the United States, we've got to defeat America by using their own law against them. So they have exploited, they being the Muslim Brotherhood sophisticated leaders, 6 of whom reside in the White House as advisors. They have decided to use our laws against us. So they find a Achilles like that. Bases are set up, people are trained, and sadly, if you remember the beheading of Daniel Pearl about 6-7 years ago, he was looking to interview Sheikh Gilani. Sheikh Gilani was the head of Muslims for America. Those are his bases, his 20, 30 bases in America. He now is in Pakistan, Sheikh Gilani. We're looking for him. But yeah, these are real-world problems, and again, the U.S. is only adjusting to this 20 or 30 years of a 1,400-year history of Islam.
We've heard in the news and we've seen on the news how the U.S. government has gone after malicious white supremacists with a vengeance. And yet, here you have 20 or 30 camps that are training terrorists. And because they're on private property, the government is not doing anything about it. What's the difference between what a white supremacist is doing compared to what these encampments are doing that are basically training terrorists?
Yeah, the bases that are training the terrorists, 1 or 2 have actually been shut down. And my guess is, my educated guess is that the FBI, and that's in the States, Federal Bureau of Investigation. They used to be the Federal Bureau of Investigation. They investigated crimes. Now they're really the Federal Bureau of Prevention. Their job is to prevent acts of terrorism. That's their primary job. My educated guess is that they have some eyes and ears on most of these camps, either through surveillance or CI's confidential informants inside. I'm pretty sure they did in the Bush administration. When you come over to the Obama administration, the big question is President Obama a Muslim? And the answer is he claims to be a Christian. I'm a Christian, I'm a theologian, and President Obama's Christianity is unrecognizable to me. And I don't know if he's a Muslim or not, but he governs with a propensity toward accommodation to Islam, and he may have called off the folks looking at these camps. I don't know for a fact, but we haven't seen much action at any of them lately here in the States, federal action.
Information that has been released through the Freedom of Information Act has revealed that law enforcement and intelligence agencies are aware that there are members of ISIS basically camped out on the U.S.-Mexican border. Border officials have found Qurans. They have found, Islam prayers. They have found the prayer carpets that they use. Isn't anybody connecting the dots here?
Rob, that's a great question, and the short answer is there anybody in the administration connecting the dots? No. The short answer is no. when you move into the federal law enforcement agencies, we have found, the United West, and we work with a lot of these good folks, we have found that many of